Hello and a very warm welcome to another video that completely disproves the notion that the Earth might be flat. The picture you're looking at was taken yesterday lunchtime from the top of the Hopetoun Monument on Byres Hill in East Lothian in Scotland. That monument, the top of that monument, is 210 metres above sea level. Byres Hill itself is 181 metres above sea level. The monument is 29 metres tall, giving a combined total height above sea level of 210 metres. By a happy coincidence, the Queensferry Crossing Central Bridge Tower is also 210 metres above sea level. That's this tower indicated by the arrow in the picture. Now, you may find websites that say that this tower is 207 metres above sea level or 206 metres above sea level, but they're not correct. Websites that detail the construction of the bridge say that it is 210 metres and that the north and south towers are 202 metres. It appears that other websites have taken an average value, and we can confirm that the north and south towers are indeed shorter than the central tower by zooming in a little on this image. And you can see that the south tower here, the north tower, fall just below the red dotted line that I've drawn across the screen, which is level with the top of the central tower. So, having confirmed that our camera is at 210 metres, and the bridge tower here is at 210 metres, the red dotted line represents eye level for our image, or the level of the camera for this particular picture. Now, perspective tells us that if the Earth was flat, everything below the red line must be less than 210 metres above sea level. And this is not conjecture, it's not speculation, this is a fact. It's easy to demonstrate that it's a fact using some household items and a flat level floor. This floor is flat and level as confirmed by this laser, which was 8 millimeters above the floor, near to the cans at the foreground here, and struck the wall the same height above the floor in the distance. The cans placed on the floor are at various distances from the camera, the furthest away ones being nearly 9 meters from the camera lens, and the camera is placed exactly level with the top of the orange bottom cans of each pair. So on this flat level floor, the upper cans never drop below eye level or camera level, indicated by the red dotted line. And the orange cans, the lower cans, never rise above eye level. The cans obey perspective. Their angular size reduces the further they are from the camera or the observer. But the silver cans on top reduce in angular size from the top down. And the orange cans at the bottom reduce in size from the bottom up. If the floor could continue on perfectly level into the distance, then the orange cans would eventually merge with the line, the dotted line at eye level, and the silver cans would eventually merge with that line. But the orange cans can never go above the line, and the silver cans can never go below the line. This is a simple fact. Now, you will see some videos that have been published by flat earth believers in response to earlier observations that I have published from Traprain Law in East Lothian, which is also 210 metres above sea level, or part of it is anyway. And in these videos, these people have been intentionally deceptive. Instead of placing their camera exactly level with their reference object, the bridge tower, in this picture, the cans in the foreground in my picture, they've placed their cameras or moved their cameras so they go below the height of the reference object. And of course, once you do that, then the rule that I am applying here no longer applies. The rule applies because the camera is the same height as the reference object that we are using. In this case, the bridge tower. So don't be fooled by people who produce videos with the sole intention of deceiving you. Do your own test and do it correctly, and you will see that I am in fact correct. Of course, if you want to deceive yourself, it's easy to do so. Just move your camera a little bit lower. So what does the picture tell us about the shape of the Earth? Well, the hills that we can see in the background can be easily identified. Their heights above sea level are known. So if we find that there are hills that are taller than 210 meters, but fall below the red dotted line, then we know that the Earth cannot be flat, because that's impossible if the Earth is flat. So what hills have we got? Well, here's Meikle Bin, 570 meters above sea level, and part of it appears above the line. Not enough of it, I don't think. We should have 360 meters of Meikle Bin above the line and only 210 below the line. And it doesn't look like that to me. Meikle Bin is closer to the camera than some of the other hills we shall look at. Earl's Seat is further away from the camera and is 578 meters above sea level. Only a tiny portion of Earl's Seat appears above the line. But if the Earth was flat, 368 meters of it should be above the line and only 210 below the line. Dunbrack is 540 meters above sea level. It's located near to Earl's Seat in our image. And again, only a tiny portion of Dunbrack appears above the line. Yet we should expect 330 meters to be above the line and only 210 meters below the line. But the evidence gets more convincing. Cairnrog Hill is 413 meters above sea level. It's located here. And all of it is below the line. If the Earth was flat, 203 meters of Cairnrog Hill should be above the line. Roughly half of that hill should be above the line. It gets worse still. Strond End is 511 meters above sea level, and all of it is below the line. We should see 301 meters of Strond End above the line. Another hill, Carletherin, is 485 meters above sea level and also appears below the line, quite significantly below the line. So these three hills, all of which appear below the line, provide very strong, I think, totally convincing evidence the Earth cannot possibly be flat. But we're not quite finished. This is Ben Lomond. It's a long way from the camera at 116.5 kilometers, but it's 974 meters tall. The line appears to coincide very closely with the top of Ben Lomond. If the Earth was flat, we should see 764 meters of Ben Lomond above the line. Ben Narnain is 926 meters above sea level, even further from the camera, at 126.7 kilometers. If the Earth was flat, 716 meters of Ben Arnain should appear above the line, and yet the top of the peak is considerably below the line. And finally we have Ben Eam, 1,011 meters above sea level, 128.7 kilometers from the camera. All of Ben Eam is below the line, and well below the line at that. If the Earth was flat, we should see 801 meters of Ben Eam above the line. Instead, we see all of it considerable distance below the line. In the face of this evidence, there is only one conclusion possible, and that is that the Earth is not flat. But I can hear some of you maybe saying, you've got those hills wrong. You haven't identified the correct hills. Well, this is an overlay of Peak Finder's horizon as viewed from the top of Byers Hill. And I've lined it up with the picture. And here is a little blink test. Have a look and see if you think I've lined these hills up correctly. You can see the Peak Finder labels as well as my labels. I don't think there's any doubt that the hills are correctly identified. And if these hills are correctly identified, then there is only one conclusion that can be made. That is that the Earth is not flat. Now, I can maybe hear some other flat Earth believers out there claiming that I wasn't at the top of the Hopetoun Monument on Byers Hill when I took this picture, that I was considerably lower down. This is a zoomed in version of the same picture, just because it looks nice. Well, I assure you I was at the top of the Hopetoun Monument. I even did a live stream from there yesterday. And you can see that where I was agrees with that location. But there's an extremely simple way to confirm this for yourself. Go to East Lothian, or get one of the Scottish flat earth believers, of which there are several, who are quite prominent on YouTube. Get them to go to East Lothian, to the Hopetoun Monument. Tell them to do it on a clear day. If it's raining and cloudy and foggy and so on, then you won't be able to see this terribly well. But on a clear day, it's pretty easy. As long as you have a camera that's capable of a little bit of zoom, something like 15 to 20 times zoom will reveal this very clearly. Get them to take a picture. I guarantee that what they see will be essentially identical to what I am showing here. It may be a little bit more or less atmospheric refraction on the day that they do the observation, and that might alter things very slightly. But it's not going to make enough difference to make this observation agree with the predictions of a flat Earth. The evidence I've presented here and the evidence I've presented from Traprain law earlier completely disprove the notion that the Earth can be flat. They do not prove that the Earth is a sphere, and I have never claimed to have proved that the Earth is a sphere. The observations do agree very well with predictions that spherical models of the Earth make. And so they do lend a little extra weight to that idea that the Earth is in fact spherical. But they do completely disprove the notion that the Earth is flat. So, flat earthers, you have a challenge laid down to you. Firstly, go to the Hopetoun Monument in East Lothian and take a picture like this, or show that the observation from the Hopetoun Monument should be totally different to this. And secondly, once you've done that, or once a flat earther has done that and honestly published the picture, the only honest thing for you to do is to give up all notions that the Earth can be flat. It simply is not possible. If you then want to go and try to find out what shape the Earth really is, then that's fine. Go ahead and investigate and try to find out what shape the Earth really is. But do not publish videos claiming the Earth is flat, because the Earth is not flat. Thank you for watching.